Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unchurch. This is Katie Weaver. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. It's been a couple of weeks. I apologize. I've missed 2 weeks in a row. I was camping and then I was traveling. What can I say? I am glad to be here this morning, though. Uh, as always, Unchurch is supposed to be a quick 20-minute spiritual gathering of like minded souls to kick off your Sunday and hopefully kick off your week. So I felt bad I haven't been here, or I guess felt disconnected because there's so much going on in the world that I know we need to work on and discuss. But we've been doing that over on the Katie Weaver Show as well. So I want to let you know that I am live streaming this here on Facebook. I'm keeping an eye on the chat or the comments so that if you want to drop a comment, I'll definitely see it. I What do you say? I want to lead off today. Let's start today with some good news. Let's do that. I think we can all use it, right? Okay. Well, from the Good News Network, the very first Black valedictorian at Princeton was able to speak this week. He evoked Michelle Obama in his historic commencement address. I thought that was pretty amazing. Commencement address online, of course, but nevertheless, Princeton has their first Black valedictorian. It is high time. Okay. There is a couple who created a new quiz card game during the lockdown out of their own boredom. And that game so far has earned them nearly $200,000. So, while some of us were laying on the couch a lot during the lockdown, other people were creating brilliant things. So, congratulations to them. That's kind of fun. There is a new study that has found that killer T cells and antibodies can neutralize COVID-19. There was also a study or a report this last week that antibodies from COVID-19 are being used in serum to be injected into people to help strengthen their immune systems, and they're having some really good luck with that. So, some good progress happening with COVID-19 right now. South Korea sent 10,000 masks to the Navajo Nation to honor their code talkers from the Korean War as a part of their thank you and ongoing commitment to be of support. I thought that was pretty wonderful. One thing I've heard that hasn't really been covered much in the news is that the Navajo nations have been hit really hard. The Navajo Nation and other indigenous people here in the U.S. have been hit really hard by COVID, both by illness and, of course, by poverty. And that hasn't been covered and talked about very much. It's something we all need to keep our finger on and make sure that we are paying attention to those who need us. Most certainly. Okay, there is a nurse who couldn't get N95 masks, so she created her own. And when they tested it at her hospital, discovered it filters more than N95 does and is easier to breathe in. So I hope that becomes something that's an invention that she's able to patent and benefit from and also help the world out with. Pretty good stuff. Okay. A coronavirus survey found that people are eating more healthy these days and wasting less food because they've been forced to eat at home. So no more buying a fridge full of groceries and eating out instead and letting that food go to waste. People are eating at home and learning how to cook. There's something else with that a lot of people have been taking cooking classes online and working with each other to learn how to cook more food. Some people that didn't really know how to cook have had to learn how to cook and love to cook. That I think is it's a wonderful thing. I am a big advocate of the idea of eating at home, eating with family, eating at the table, nourishing our communities through food and through cooking. And so that warms my heart a lot. That's the home economist in me, for sure. Okay. There is the first of its kind, a hybrid floating ocean platform that can generate power from waves and wind and solar to create an immense amount of power to be used by cities, which is an incredible thing. That is cleaner than most of any other sources that we can come across for power, for electricity. That could become something in the future that is very good for our environment. Now, with the caveat that we have to be sure that it is actually good for the ocean, right? But I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Okay. There is a new invention called a bionic eye. The bionic eye is as sensitive as the human retina and could give sight to millions of people. Can you imagine? People who were born blind or had an eye injury or illness could be receiving bionic eyes that could give them sight. That to me is absolutely incredible. Incredible. Hotels that have opened their doors to homeless people during COVID have benefited from the talents that the people that are living with them possess in the ways of their skills, working, cleaning, fixing things, creating music in lobbies, all kinds of beautiful ways that homeless people have been able to give back. Because, of course, those people are people, and those people have stories and lives and talents and skills that they've been unable to use while living on the streets. But while living in hotels, they've been able to give back by using those talents and skills. It shouldn't be a surprise. It's not, but it's still pretty beautiful. There's so much more. I'm going to leave it there, but I highly recommend, if you need some good news, to go scroll through the Good News Network and read a few of their articles. You will discover that, per normal, there's still more good in the world than bad, and there's a lot of wonderful things happening. That's a good way to spend some time, especially if you're feeling a little down. I know that there's still a lot of challenges. There's still a lot of work to be done. There are still a lot of things that we all need to do, and I won't make light of those. But there's nothing wrong with feeling good too, right? We all need some hope every once in a while. I wanted to share with you guys a poem. This came from amnestyinternational.org. It is called Solidarity Poem for All Those Defending Human Rights by Sabrina Mahfouz. Did we imagine life would find us like this? Lead us here like this? Did we not think we would be the ones to find it? Will we be the ones to resist attacks on equality, dignity, fairness, autonomy, respect? 2 world wars were required for people to form a formal idea that these ideals belong to all. A post-war dream to keep the seams of humanity intact. Now the ambush on these intrinsic values is on. And you are the battlefield front line, armed with expectations of decency, articulations of suffering, asking questions to barrels of eclipsed guns. When your time on this earth is gone, what would you like to have done? The guns may stay silent, but you will not. And because of that, because of you, we can still hold the hand of a child. Talk to them quietly about the goodness of hearts, people's ability to learn from the past, to become kinder, to be the reminder to rules that human rights are for us all. I am one who will save. I loved that. What a powerful piece. Isn't that who we all are? I hope so. Isn't that what we all want? Well, we're learning. No, it isn't. But we know that we will overcome. Somehow, some way, good always manages to vanquish bad. Love always wins. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a fight, right? Sometimes it takes some changes and some challenges. But what we know for sure is love always wins. We're going to keep pushing for that. We're going to keep working together. We're going to continue to learn from each other. And here's how we do it. We have to put our egos aside. I think the biggest challenge that human beings have in learning how to get along with each other is getting their ego out of the way. Your ego is in your left brain. It's a part of the analytical part of you. Your ego is a steel trap. It doesn't forget. It never forgets. So your ego has a job to do. At the very core of it, your ego's job is to keep you safe. That's all. But egos run unchecked. And when egos run unchecked, well, then people become out of control and they forget who they are. The ego can overwhelm the spirit. It's an unfortunate but true fact. And when the ego overwhelms the spirit, we have the level of greed we've seen. We have the level of discrimination, the level of fear, right? This is where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of ego. What does that actually mean? Well, break it down to something small. When you're a child, somebody maybe says, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And you touch the stove. And what do you learn from that? The stove is hot, right? Well, when you learn the stove is hot, you'll probably remember it. Maybe you'll have to learn it once or twice, right? Maybe that lesson's not going to come for free. Maybe you'll have to learn it once or twice. But at some point, your ego will embed that memory and remember the stove is hot. Now, it won't prevent you from using the stove at some point. You'll use it, but you won't touch the burners, right? You'll remember they're hot. It hurts. It burns. That's a really basic sense of the ego. The ego remembers, and the ego wants to keep us safe. Well, the ego does that and reminds us of things that have hurt us in the past or that we have been afraid of. Whether we were afraid of something, or perhaps our parents were, or our ancestors were, and it's just a part of our makeup, right? So perhaps you aren't necessarily afraid of something or someone, but there still might be a part of your DNA, a part of your makeup, a part of your ego that is afraid of that thing. That's where a lot of discrimination comes from. And so down the line, we continue to let our egos run unchecked. We continue to listen to the warnings without asking any questions, without checking our egos and deciding whether or not that's something we even believe anymore or that we even hold to be true. I see it sometimes in my clients with relationships. Maybe in your early 20s, you had a bad experience. Maybe you dated somebody who turned out to be a serial cheater and broke your heart. So now maybe you're in your 40s. And every relationship you're in, your ego starts beating that drum again and telling you that, warning you that they're cheating. Or maybe not that telling you they're cheating, but maybe warning you that they could cheat. Maybe frightening you a little bit. Maybe giving you a little bit of doubt where there doesn't need to be any. Right? And perhaps you explore this and you examine this over and over again, and this person really isn't cheating, but there's that part of you that's always on alert for that because your ego keeps reminding you that when you love people, they cheat on you because it happened one time and it hurt. And so your ego wants you to be safe. And at some point, you have to be able to tell your ego to take a back seat, to sit down and shut up, right? That you got this, that the warning is heard, but it's okay. That's how we are with a lot of things, more than we realize. I think that people who have a fear over not having enough, people who have a fear over money, over being left with nothing, tend to, if their ego goes unchecked and it overwhelms their spirit, end up in places in their life where they are the ones who are greedy and cruel and use money as a tool to hurt others, to have more and more and more. We've all known people that cannot ever have enough. That's an unchecked ego that's still whispering in their ear that they have to have more in order to be safe. We all owe it to ourselves and to the world, pardon me, to continue to evaluate what our egos are telling us and if it's true anymore. So, what do you do if your ego is whispering in your ear, telling you things that aren't really true anymore, and you just keep hearing them and you're tired of it? Well, we all go through that to some degree. Sometimes some energy work, a trauma clearing, a core belief clearing is called for. Sometimes it's just looking those beliefs head on and really loudly getting clear with yourself about what you truly believe, who you truly want to be, and what fears you'd like to leave in the past. Sometimes it's about just recognizing them and stopping and saying, no, I'm going to choose spirit over fear. I'm going to put my ego in the back seat. I'm not interested in hearing this anymore, and shutting it down. However, if there is trauma involved in the belief, sometimes it takes a little bit more work than that. Perhaps some therapy, perhaps some talking, some journaling, some writing it out, and again, perhaps some energy work to help move it through you. All of those things are useful and helpful for sure. So that's what I think about that. It is always been my fervent hope that we can find ourselves in a better place of equality, in a true place of equality. I know we can get there. I know we're going to get there. I know that every time we shake up again, and every time we are forced to face our demons, we're forced to look at the darker parts of ourselves, of our communities, of our country, that change happens because darkness cannot exist where there is light. And when we shine light on our dark places, we create change. And that's what's happening right now. Right now. It's big. It's important. I wanted to pull a card from the Goddess Oracle to give us some guidance for the week. So I'll do that now. Just to look at what do we need to know this week? Who should we connect to? What are we going to see more of that we need to be aware of? Especially after getting through that full moon eclipse. Yikes. It's been a mad week. People are mad. They're prickly. They're distrustful. They're pissed off. I'm hoping we're moving into something better next week, but let's see. This is hard on a little empath's heart that just wants everyone to get along. The goddess is Nut, and the card is mystery. So how does that apply to us this week? Well, I have a couple of different hits on that. First and foremost, there's a reminder here to all of us to stay curious, to continue to educate ourselves, to continue to ask questions, to continue to learn in every facet of our lives. I feel like we will see a lot of people, we already have through COVID, but throughout the next, ending of this year, continue to want to learn new things, to continue to expand and to grow and to read and to take classes. And I feel like mystery is a part of that, really uncovering more information for yourself. And I feel like this week there will be a draw towards that. I also feel like this week we will have more news uncovering. We're going to see some things in the media uncovering some more rocks, putting a little more dark places into light. I think we might even have some blockbuster kind of news come to the forefront this week that might rock us back on our heels a little bit. You're probably still on your heels from everything we've been through so far this year, but I feel like this week there's something coming that's going to surprise us a lot and hopefully give us all a little more clear guidance of where we want to go moving forward. And the last part of that mystery card, I think for all of us, is continuing to examine ourselves. Like I had talked about, examining our own egos, our own upbringings, our own DNA, our ancestry, our communities, and continue to be very real, be very true, be very capable of recognizing what is true, what could change. Here's the thing. We all have secrets. We all have secrets in our families, in our ancestry, in our communities. Secrets keep us sick. And as we continue to turn over those rocks, we continue to put light in dark places, we heal. It's okay. It's okay to be honest. It's okay to shine light in those places. There is no need any longer to keep those old secrets. There's no need to turn a blind eye. We're done with that. Now we're going to heal, and we're going to do it through dialogue. We're going to do it through activism. We're going to do it through true change. We're going to do it through continuing to create political upheaval and create a place where we have people in office that actually care about our people, that truly want change, that understand change. We're doing it right now, and we're going to continue to do so. That's it. I promised Unchurch would last about 20 minutes, and it did, and that's all the time I want to take from you today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me. Thank you for lending your voices and your energy. I want to let you know that you can find me over at katie-weaver.com if you'd like more information. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great week, guys. Take care.